Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Leo season, Libra sun, moon, and rising. My Libras, this Leo season contains several fun things. I have done a longer astrology video if you'd like to check that out, but I think something that I'm just going to touch on here is that we do have a Mercury retrograde for a good portion of it. So just know that we're dealing with another one of these. I've also done a video on this Mercury retrograde. It's not just this Mercury retrograde, but we've had several other personal planet retrogrades that have touched the sign of Leo. And so, yeah, just check out where that is in your chart. It'll give you some help as we deal with Leo season. But I do like your first card because your first card is the Strength card. And this is the card of Leo. There is an invitation to open in and kind of dig into the heart of things and your desires and the things that you have been fighting for and standing strong in. And it's a moment to reconsider them. It doesn't mean that you need to like throw them out or get rid of them, but this is a really important opportunity for you to really sit in what you're advocating for and in your personal power and in the stuff that you're striving for in your life, because strength also is known by the name fortitude. So this is this endurance, this ability to kind of hold firm on something. It's a good time to reconsider it. It doesn't mean you have to throw anything out. It's just a moment to kind of unpack why you're doing things and what your goals are and what your plans are and how you intend to get them done. You might not get tons of clarity until the end of Mercury retrograde, but all of the digging that you do is going to build you up to a really great point of like foothold and readiness to kind of move through the energy. I do see in the cards here, I do think that you might actually get a little bit of juice in Mercury retrograde, which not everyone does, but it feels like you are going to get propelled into the energy of this season. Because the card that immediately follows the Strength card is the Eight of Wands, and this is about things speeding up and starting to happen. I also wonder if you're not in for a bit of a chaotic Mercury retrograde where instead of kind of a lagging, forced to process feeling, you're hit with a lot of stuff all at once so that you're put in a position to make decisions without having a whole lot of time to process, which would make sense with you all being Libra placements because Libra loves to have that time to consider. And so the kind of the teehee of a Mercury retrograde being like, so for a lot of people, we're just making everything slow down so things don't happen and they have to process. But for you, who likes to have the space and time to process, you're going to have to make some decisions really quickly. So be aware that some stuff might be speeding up and you're going to have to kind of meet it trusting in the skills and the knowledge and the things that you have built up into this point. So yeah, it does feel as though Leo season is going to be quite a ride for you. So buckle up. The next card we have here is Queen of Swords. And I think it is coming back to that kind of trust of self. Also, this feels very Libra-esque. Reminds me of the Justice card, which is the major arcana card for Libra. You know, a femme figure holding a blade. This is about trust in self, belief in your understanding and your intuition, and knowing that you don't always need all of the information in order to make good, solid, healthy decisions for yourself. I also wonder if you haven't been kind of resisting or lagging on a decision that you need to make. And in this season, you're kind of, with the kind of Eight of Wands kicking you into gear, you're now kind of, forced, for a better or worse term, to take action and to trust on the work you've been doing rather than constantly doubting and second guessing. It's also a reminder that, Libra does have a fallen sun. So your sun's not exactly thrilled to be in the sun placement. I find a lot of Libras do kind of struggle with this feeling of, especially with the sun placement, feeling of enough. And I think this season is about you accepting your enoughness and believing in your personal strength and power and your ability to make really wise and good choices. I also think with strength and with the Eight of Wands, you're being asked to trust You're being asked to believe in the ability for things to turn out okay if you don't have all of the space and time to make a considered decision. This is kind of a test, it feels like, of your skills. It's like, I know you like to do it this way, but we're going to make you do it this way. But yeah, really trust and believe that you know what you need to do. I also love that this figure has a bird on their shoulder. Makes me think of spirit guides and spiritual connection. I think this is a great time to strengthen any spiritual bonds you have, to connect so that you have some extra help, so you're not completely relying on yourself when you have less time to make choices. You don't get to consider things. You kind of have to look, leap before you look, which every Libra placement I know hates that. And maybe you have something fun like a Sagittarius rising or something where you do, leap before you look. But for those of you who don't, it's important for you to build that skill. It's important for you to trust the work that you've done. And also, when you have a decision, you're not just making a decision with only the tools that you have in that moment. You're making a decision with the expanse of your lifetime and your experience. This is a time to trust. I also think if some of you are applying for jobs or looking for a new position or requesting a raise, this is about you, especially with the King of Pentacles, which is our next card. This is about you valuing yourself and putting down your true worth. This isn't the time to underplay your skill set. This isn't the time to be like, well, there are better people than me. No, you are the perfect person for whatever position that is. And you really need to believe in your work and your effort, and not only have blind faith in stepping out into a situation, but to have blind faith in what you have as you move forward. I think this is also about trusting in just who you are as a person. You want to do your best, and maybe these situations and things coming towards you seem a little scary, but you have a lot of power and strength, and also the energy that you have at this moment isn't the only energy you're ever going to have. I think when we're sitting with the King of Pentacles, it can feel like in stress, it can feel like everything that you have in this moment is all you're ever going to have. And the lesson, I think, of the King of Pentacles is that resources and material things and personal things, they cycle and they shift and they move. You may not have the resources now, but you're never going to know until you try. So this whole season is kind of a call for you to step out of your comfort zone and to try new things and to step into a future where you get a measure of risk involved, and within that risk there can be great reward, and you just have to accept that maybe some of it's not going to work, which I know, not a fun thing to consider. And then last but not least, we have the Six of Cups. This hesitancy, the lesson that feels like is coming your way of having to kind of move without all of your ducks in a row. Check in your childhood to see where this has occurred, to see where you have experience the situation that didn't work out, or why you're feeling this just deep insecurity about something, or that you can't move forward, or that things aren't going to work out okay. I don't think a lot of what's going to happen here is about what's happening. I think it's a lot about what has happened and the conditioning and fears and concerns that can be built around disappointment and other people's failures, and the way in which people haven't shown up for you that you're afraid that you're going to do to someone else. So have faith, have hope. We also, I've been called in the past few readings to pull the last card, also the Five of Pentacles. There's disappointment in this. Not everything is going to work out, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go for it, and that you shouldn't try, and that you shouldn't engage and put yourself out there. It just means that you have to find a balance between effort and trying and hope, and the very real possibility that something might not work out. But it doesn't mean that it won't. It just means that you have to come to terms with a bit of loss. However, overall, I think a lot of good things are going to happen. I do think the message is you need to do the thing. And it might seem kind of counterintuitive with a Mercury retrograde, but sometimes, pretty much all the time, Mercury retrogrades don't call everyone to one thing. They often tend to call us to the opposition of the thing that we're really good at. So you're really good at probably making choices and balancing things out, and at least being like, well, I thought that through first. You don't get to do it this time. You're not going to get to do like your regular kind of list of pros and cons. You're going to have an opportunity and you're going to need to take it or not take it. And I encourage you to trust and have faith. But that is your reading for this. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy these readings. I'm excited for you. Definitely connect to the whys and the wherefores of the way you've been doing things up until this point and the ways it maybe gets in your way. But yeah, have a blessed Leo season, and I will see you all in a different space and time.